Welcome back to Uncontested Investing. I'm Tim Harris. Thank you so much for swinging back by. Remember, click down below, like, subscribe, rate, review. Let us know you're there. Let us know what you think. Today, I'm joined by some more mastermind friends of mine, husband and wife, boss lady and the pilot, Jon and Amy Nolen. Guys, thanks for coming down.
Well, thanks for having us.
So, you get to pick. I always start off I say, tell the audience a little bit about yourself. So, y'all decide who's going to say that. Who's going to say what?
Jon and Amy Nolen from Oklahoma City. Long story, we own Integrity Home Buyers there by mainly in central Oklahoma. But we also have rentals. We've done just about everything in investing, moving into apartments and actually moving into software lately.
Yeah, software.
We have a background in software and pharmacy software, and we're taking what we learned there and applying it to real estate investing.
All right, so that is going to be a big topic of conversation later. But as a fellow Marine, you know what this is like. I used to brief the generals. The bottom line up front, we got to give them the most important thing in case they got to get up and leave. Or in this case, if someone's watching and they get bored, right?
Fair enough.
We need to give them the most important stuff up front. So 2 minutes, things that people should be thinking about, focused on, avoiding, pursuing, etc. in your opinion in today's market. You ready?
Ready.
Who's got this one?
I got it.
Jon, you got it?
Yep.
Go.
Number one, you have to remember what your focus is. Everybody gets into this business for some reason. Almost everybody says it's time. That may be your focus. Great. That's our biggest focus, is time and being able to have the lifestyle that we want. But you have to keep focus on it. A lot of people call it their why. We like to call it your focus. Keep that in front of you. If you let that get off to the side and you're not paying attention to it, you're going to stray off track and you're going to end up doing something that you wouldn't want to be doing. So after that, you have to be profitable. How do you become profitable? You have to do things that are repeatable. Think about these chains, all these large operations. It's a repeatable process that they will have other people do. You have to be repeatable, get a process, and be consistent. Past that, have fun. Have fun, do what you're doing, and keep moving forward.
So that's great. Now, I think I saw on Facebook recently that you own a time machine.
Yes.
It is.
Yes, we do.
Isn't that how you referred to it in the post? So one of the ways that you've been, I've been watching you guys for the last couple of years, you've been buying your time back is by being a pilot.
That's right.
Can maybe you guys talk about how that happened, when that became a dream, when it became a focus, and then now you are flying to the Dominican Republic soon in your own plane?
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and I'm going to back up a little bit more. When we first got into full-time investing, we needed time for our kids. Our kids had a lot of medical issues going on, so there was a lot of time that had to be spent on doctor's appointments or going up to New York for doctor's appointments. And we had to go from Oklahoma City to New York at one point every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And so we really have always focused on that time. They just kind of moved on into the plane. I always wanted to be a pilot. Grew up next to an Air Force base, so I always thought, it'd be cool to fly an F-16. No.
He did not buy an F-16.
No, I've been working on her. I want an F-4. But a few years ago for Christmas, she got me a gift certificate to get flying lessons.
I feel like as his wife, my goal in life is to make his dreams come true. So he said, when I was it 15, 13, 15? I did an exploratory flight one summer at a camp, and that was really cool. I think it'd be fun to be a pilot. I was like, so I have a really good friend that's a pilot. So I called her and was like, how does this happen? So she got me in touch with the flight school, and I got him a gift certificate to get his license. So that's what he got for Christmas.
And just went from there and loved it. And then she threw out one time that, we really should get a plane. I was like, whoa, that's a possibility. And from there, it just kind of went. We're actually on our second plane. We just sold our first plane about a month ago to get bigger, faster, and fly higher.
So is it a good investment? Plane.
It is for me.
It is because of the time we get back from it.
Right.
We have a cabin in Colorado we go to quite a bit, but if we drive, it's a 12, 13-hour drive. If we fly, 2.5 to 3 hours.
So it doesn't save you money. Like if we flew commercial, it would be cheaper.
Oh, yeah.
But there are things we can do that we couldn't do commercial. Like one summer, our daughter was dancing in Milwaukee for the summer, and We had to pick her up on Saturday. He had surprised me with tickets to a Broadway show in New York on Sunday. So we had to go and then fuel was on Monday. So we had to go from Milwaukee home to New York to Nashville. And we did it all in 2 days.
It was fun.
Last night, I was telling you earlier, my son is going through pilot training at Oklahoma State, and he's not a big sharer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So finally, my father-in-law worked for American Airlines. He was like, tell him I want the tail number when he flies. I want to track him on this radar. And I was like, all right, Max, I will. Now, every time he sends it, I want to go look at it too.
Mm-hmm.
And like last night, he was sending pictures from the, what it looked like. And you're just like, what a cool office.
Yeah.
I mean, he's up above the clouds at like 8,000 feet. And you're just like, wow.
And it's amazing, especially if you get over some like Colorado or some other areas with some terrain changes. Oh, it's just beautiful. Just beautiful.
And the sunsets from the plane are pretty cool too.
So planes aren't cheap. Operating them aren't cheap. I know you're really big. You guys are really big into long-term rentals, owning assets that produce tax advantages and cash flow. Maybe talk a little bit about the evolution. Like you were in the pharmaceutical, then you got into real estate. Did you go straight into owning the houses? Did you go straight into, were you a flipper or a wholesaler first? What's that evolution been like?
We've done it all kind of at the same time. When we first bought our first rental, it was in 2012. Mm-hmm. We had one rental, the typical deal that you hear of. Didn't know anything about buying under market or anything like that. We paid $100,000 for a house, put $20,000 down, and we cash flowed $0 a month. A few years later, sold that house, made some, flipped a house, decided to get into it more full time, and then at that point, just immediately started flipping, wholesaling, and buying rentals. So in the last 6 years, we've bought 130 single-family doors, and we're also involved in some apartments as well.
Well, those apartments, are you syndicating, or are you just doing it all on your own, little local group of friends?
We're part of a syndication on it.
Yeah. And now you've dovetailed the software. Are you the software person? Are you the software person? What is this? What is the software?
She tells the story better than I do.
I don't know that I do, but every real estate investor has things that are just annoying. We all have the same problems, and we had 6 or 7 softwares we're using to track everything, and it was just things were falling through the cracks because we didn't update this system, but we did over here. It was just driving us crazy, and he has developed before. When we were in the pharmacy software business, he developed a mobile app, and he helped develop some of the regular software too. So he said, I could make us something. So he kind of fiddled around with it for a little while. And the more I went to the masterminds, you hear the same problems from everybody. I said, John, I think this could be a solution for more than just us. So then our wheels really started turning, and we hit the ground running.
But at first I was like, no way, not happening. I'm just going to do something for me. I have no intentions of doing anything for anybody else.
I have a really bad habit of taking his good ideas and making them crazy ideas.
Not my wife. My wife's one of those, like, what was it the other day? I came down the hall. I was like, so here's what we're going to do. And she knows that sounds like our money is about to leave us, and it may not come back.
Yeah.
Because I tell everyone, like, I have no problem losing it all. I know I can make it back again, and that's the way I act. What was I can't even remember. Oh, it was this new owner finance thing where I was going to start keeping, instead of wholesaling anymore, I got tired of that. We're just going to take everything down, owner finance it, sell the first, keep the second, get the down payment. It's about the same cash as a wholesale, and but then you get the cash. And she's just like, stop. Who are you selling the notes to us? I don't know. I'll ask Eddie Speed. And she was like, Tim, that's not a plan. I was like, no, we ought to be able to sell it anywhere from 85 to 95 cents on the dollar. She goes, that's a big difference. And I'm like, no, not really. I mean, it's, 10% of 70%. So it's actually only 7%. And she's like, oh, you and your math. And I was like, it is what it is, right?
And that's good. You get ideas, you take them, you roll with them. Sometimes they'll work, sometimes they won't. You have to weigh the risk and decide where to go.
I say it all the time. My youngest is a baseball player.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm into this traveling baseball league stuff. Yeah, it's like, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are toast.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there is just Monday, Wednesday practice. He's also in a rec league, 2 of those games a week. I mean, I cannot wait for July. Like, it's just, I'm begging July to get here. But I was explaining it to him, and I think entrepreneurs struggle from this too. Too often we expect ourselves to be perfect when if you spent 10 years in the majors and you got on base 30% of your at-bats, you're in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Right? Which flipped around means you failed 70% of the time.
Yep.
And I think, we all have to learn to give ourselves a pass and understand that nothing can be perfect. The key is once you find out you make a mistake, stop it.
And learn from it.
Yep.
That's a big thing with us. We focus with our kids and with our employees is you have to be willing to fail. We're not going to fire you just because you messed up once. I mean, it'd have to be a really big mess up to get it on once.
Yeah.
But be willing to fail. Learn from it. Move forward. That's how you grow.
I was doing someone else's podcast interview recently, and he was like, what makes you like willing to do all this, able to do? I said, I guess it's the Marine Corps, man, because it's just improvise, adapt, and overcome.
Yep.
I mean, you just have to know that things are going to go wrong. We're not saving lives here, right? There's no IEDs. I'm not worried about making it home to my kids tonight. It's just, if things go wrong, figure it out, fix it, stop the bleeding. It's first trauma, right?
Yep.
Stop the bleeding, protect the wound, and treat for shock, right? It's just, and hide it from your wife if you can. That's
Hey now.
I'm not good at that. She always figures it out.
I don't think any of us are really good at it. We just think we are.
I'm good at helping handle it.
She is.
You don't have to hide it.
Well, it's the pragmatic solution, right? I want to actually take a break and then come back and talk about like differing personalities and where you guys find that you complement and supplement each other in different roles of the business. So stick around. We'll be right back. Here at RCN Capital, we understand that everyone's financial needs are different. Whether you're pursuing long-term or short-term ventures, our wide range of loan programs will help reach your financial goals with ease and flexibility. We have loan programs for fix and flips, long-term rentals, new construction, and multifamily properties. And don't forget to ask about our Platinum program for experienced investors. To learn more about our loan programs or apply, click the link in our bio or email info@rcncapital.com. Welcome back to Uncontested Investing. I'm still here with Jon and Amy Nolen. Don't forget, while you're watching, click below, like, subscribe, rate, review. Let us know what you think. Have you ever watched the show Billions? No. All right. It's on Showtime or HBO, one of those. Well, there's this lady that named Wendy that helps Bobby Axelrod. He's the hedge fund manager. She's like his therapist, right? He goes in and she recenters him and all that. And we joke around at our house that Jennifer is my Wendy, right? Like she's always giving me some slogan or phrase like, well, you can't get there from here, or it is what it is, or when you know what you don't want, you know what you want. Like all these things, like when delivered at the right time, it solves that part that I'm missing. And then I do the same thing for her. When she gets stressed, I'm all about the math and the numbers. Like the other day, she said something like that. Amex bill was up to like $100,000 or something. And she just forgot that we had these 2 other big projects going and we were about to pay them. I was like, honey, we have like 4 times that coming in the next 30 days. She goes, no, we don't. I go, yeah, it's this much on this one and this much on this one and this much. Like, I literally I was like, you want me to build you a spreadsheet? She's like, no. I just want to worry. But where do y'all fit into the business? Who's the worrier? Who's the aggressor? Talk a little bit about maybe the way y'all interact and the way you help each other be successful.
That's been an evolution. When Amy came in full-time after leaving her corporate career, we tried to have her be in more of an integrator role. And because I had been running the business, I was really the visionary and that didn't work. That didn't work at all. I am too detail-oriented that she was left going, I don't know what he wants me to do for sure.
I felt handcuffed because if I didn't do it exactly how he would do it, it was like, oh, you did that wrong. I'm like, but we got the same result. Doesn't matter. So
that one time, it wouldn't have been the same result.
Right.
That kind of thing. So
you're a micromanager.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a details person. So Amy she handles all the finance, and she handles the big picture and helps keep us going. And I just kind of sit there with my little mouse wheel and keep doing stuff, and I squirrel over, and then she kind of centers me back, and then I go for this other shiny object, and she brings me back, and
So you're the guardrails.
No, he's the guardrails. You're the one that's like, this won't work because of this, or you find why it won't work, and I push. Well, let's figure that out. Those are just detours.
Tim's going, oh yeah, you're micromanaged.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for what could go wrong.
Right.
What's the risk of it, so we can mitigate that and not have that issue. So it gets to be interesting. It gets to be a little complicated at times, and she wants to strangle me.
You strangle me at times too.
Oh no.
So does that dynamic stay the same in the home life, or is it different?
That's a good question. What do you think?
I think it's different at home.
How so?
I feel like I'm more of the planner and integrator at home, where you're more of the visionary at home. But at work, it's the opposite.
I find the same thing with me and Jennifer. I mean, at home, at the home life, I have complete deference to her. I could care less. I mean, I even told her, like, she's one of those nesters. Like, she's always like, oh, I got $100. All right, 10 goes here, 10 goes here, 10 goes here, 10 goes here. Like, she's just super detailed. And our kids got all these 401ks and IRAs and SEPs, this and that, and I don't even understand it all. I just joke around it. As long as my debit card works, I'm good, right? And I don't spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
But in the business side, like, I need to know where everything is. I need to know every number, every detail. Like at RCN, I'm just married to the percentages, right? It's how many appraisals, how many paid, how many this, how many that. Like, it's just because you can, if you order 50 appraisals today, you can forecast that output in 36 days from now. Like, you know that, half of those loans are going to close 36 days from now.
That's what she's doing on a daily, I say daily, on a constant basis at work. Is she knows exactly what's going on with our acquisitions and our dispositions and our rentals and our rehabs. She knows all those numbers, and she's the one that's involved in those all the time. But
yeah, and talk about maybe it's never all roses in the last 10 years, some challenges that you've had to get past in the business that it was either really beneficial that your partner was your spouse, or maybe the opposite, like having your partner as a spouse.
can I take that put a little twist on it?
However you want.
A couple years ago, we all get stressed at times. We all kind of get some of that fatigue.
Right.
And I was going through, I don't even remember what was going on at that point, but I was so stressed and I was feeling burnt out, and just kind of that helpless feeling that everybody gets sometimes.
Yeah.
And she was trying to help me, but it just wasn't resonating.
Well, when your spouse says, it'll be fine, it's all going to work out, don't stress about it, that works out well.
And so I reached out on Facebook to the mastermind, and the response I got wasn't so much do this or do that. It was, hey, I've been there too. I know what you're going through. You'll be okay. That helped me calm down. Then I went back and I was like, I'm so sorry. You're here. We're talking. Let's get back to it. Let's work together. And having that relationship made that a lot easier. Whereas if it was just a third party partner, that would have been a lot more difficult to come back and be like.
And also, one thing that I guess our benefit is both of our parents work together and own their own businesses, or both of our sets of parents. Anyway, it was a good.
Oh, get a little Oklahoma there for a second.
No, it's Arkansas. So that's been a good example. So I think we've grew up knowing how to do it correctly. But I think even last year that we were struggling together, and we were trying to figure out why, because relationship-wise, we've always been us is first. The business, they'll come and go. We're first. And we were struggling. It was just like we were picking at each other every day. And finally we sat down and we were like, what is going on? And we just didn't have defined lanes. Like we were both trying to do all of it. So we were kind of stepping on each other. And then it was like, so once we said, I'll handle this, you handle that, we have been great since.
Mm-hmm. And there's still times that it gets tense and stressful, and she wants to kill me and I want to kill her. But we really try when we get home, let it be. We try. We don't do great all the time, but we try. We're both workaholics.
Yeah.
When we're not at the cabin or we're not with the kids, we have our laptops out. We have our phones out. We're doing something.
When we're at the cabin, we have our laptops out.
Not as much.
You're always on. Like, RCN, they don't understand me. Like, I may be in a ball cap and a t-shirt at 9 a.m. on a call, but I'm also probably going to be the only one emailing you a lot all weekend and at 10 o'clock at night. And idea, and email 3 people, and like one guy was like, "Dude, do you ever turn it off?" I was like, "Man, I'm always on and I'm always off." Like it's like,
But with that, you get that freedom to where you're able to do that, but you're able to focus on other things as well.
Right.
And that's where the time freedom really comes, is being able to shift and move and not just, oh, crap, I have to do this right now.
Mm-hmm.
well, one of the reasons that you guys are here is after the Investor Fuel a couple weeks ago, Anthony and Candace came and were the first couple interview, and I just loved it. And by the time, and it hadn't even aired yet, and we're already doing this one, because I went straight to the Investor Fuel Facebook group. I was like, oh my gosh, any other husband, wives, like, let's do this. Because when you really look at the vast majority of the industry, it's a family business. It's a husband, wife, it's a partnership thing, and two best friends from college or whatever. I mean,
Yep.
And it doesn't get talked about a lot, right? Even when we go to these masterminds, like, we should bring in a marital counsel, right? I mean, it's hard for me sometimes after 23 years in the business. Jen and I will catch ourselves at dinner kind of bickering about something, like an Airbnb thing that I didn't do, or some listing that she's having a problem with, because you're a realtor as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so Jennifer's been a broker for 25 years, and it's just so funny. Like, you catch yourself, and you're like, you have to wait. We said we weren't going to talk about the kids or work at lunch. And then you find that you actually still have a lot of things to talk about that don't involve the kids or work. Travel is a big thing for us. Travel and food. I'm blessed in my role at RCN. I get to travel a lot. And I finally just put my foot down, not metaphorically, not actually. And I said, we are smart people. You can travel. We can figure the dogs and the kit out for 2 days. We can figure that out, right? There's so many paid services now of people and she's like, well, I mean, we're going to spend $1,000 paying someone to come sit at our house. Said, absolutely. Because I'm going to the Fairmont Princess in Scottsdale this week, one of the nicest hotels in America, much less Arizona, much less America. I don't want to stay there alone. Like, you don't have to come to the meetings, Yeah. You walk around the resort or even, actually, it was kind of funny. I have to say this. She's like, well, I have work to do too. And I said, I understand. But would you rather work from our house for the next 2 days or from a 5-star resort?
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, that's, and it was cool. Like, both days she got to order in a room service and just open the balcony and just work. She still worked, right? She's not sitting on the couch eating bonbons. It's her favorite thing to say at me. She's still working, but just from a much better location.
Yeah. And that's one of the amazing things about our plane is we can go where we want and have that and still have lots of time. I mean, we've flown all over the place, and
I keep booking more trips too.
yeah, she keeps booking more trips. She's talking about flying us to Iceland, about us flying ourselves.
Flying.
Me flying, but us flying to Iceland for New Year's. We're figuring that one out. But
over here, like the icing. We should get a bigger plane. My son can be the co-pilot, and we can log hours together.
Mm-hmm.
that could be fun.
Yes.
That could be lots of fun.
Anyway, on the next episode, maybe we make it back, maybe we don't.
We do the same thing, though. I mean, we end up somewhere, we can pop out our laptop, work for a little bit, put it up, come back later. The cabin, we have our, Starlink now, so we're able to do a lot of work up at the cabin. We're going to spend most of the summer up at the cabin. We're going down to Florida with the Whedons for a week. We're going to work some. I mean, we'll work early in the morning, be on our phones a little bit, then in the evenings, but having that ability to move around and be flexible is huge.
So that's cool, because Chad invited me and Jen down too. And like, he's young. Don't worry, he's staging us all out. Like, I think it's the coolest thing ever. Like, he's got 2 months or a month, and he's like, well, I've got a spot open here and here. And I was like, all right, man.
Yeah, did that last year with them in the Keys.
I saw it, and that's where like I felt I was grateful that he invited us, and I will take him up on that, because the other part is, and I want y'all to talk a little bit about this. I've seen with you guys, it's hard to be on your own in your own little bubble. How important for your business, for your marriage, etc., has it been to be a part of Investor Fuel and the mastermind and meeting other people that are just as nuts as you?
I don't know if they're just as nuts as me, but it's been vital. It has been absolutely vital, because you were right. You do end up feeling like you're in a bubble. I mean, you have friends back home, you have acquaintances, but you can't talk about the same things. I mean, you start talking about number of, you have 100 doors and you had to replace this many roofs and this many air conditioners, all this, and people go, "Are you kidding me?"
Wait, you even refer to houses plural. Like, yeah, one of the houses I own, and you start a conversation, people are like, "What?"
Yeah. The other day, Amy goes, "Do you realize how many houses we own?" Like, I don't know exactly. She said over 150, I think, between rentals we have, flips that are going, all kinds of stuff. I was like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Anyone that could ever quote how many doors or units they have, I kind of feel like as a marketer, I never have a clue.
I don't know the exact.
I'm a numbers person, not a marketer. So.
Okay. So you know exactly how many you own today? What's the number?
127 on the rentals.
Oh, it's like, I thought you said 150.
Well, yeah, it is. Just the doors for the rentals.
She's like me now. She's like, well, we got 127 here, 32 here, 38 here, 17 here, and 100 over here. And so why did you recently kind of go into multifamily? Is it scale? Is it opportunity? What kind of put you there? And when I say you, I mean y'all.
Right. I think we've always been intrigued by it because it's the same, just bigger numbers, right? But we've always been a little bit timid. How single family houses are comfortable, and the more we looked at each other, we were like, if you're comfortable, you're not growing. We've got to get uncomfortable. And we've set up our business to run pretty well without it. I mean, we're in it, but not in it 8 hours a day type thing. So we decided, well, let's try this. So we're slowly getting our feet wet. Corey's trying to push me quite a bit. Corey Peterson.
Oh, you're part of the Kahuna group?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And when we first really got heavy into single family, we thought very hard about multifamily. But at that point, my horrible thinking was, I don't want to have to deal with partners. I don't want to have to deal with other people. I'm just going to do it myself. And now I realize, oh my goodness, if we would have gone into multifamily at that point, what could be going on right now?
Not a lot of single man platoons, are there, John?
No, nope. Have to have a team.
And we're going to talk about that when we come back from break. But I'll say, in the last 2 years, I haven't taken on any new investment projects. I've only invested in other people's syndications, and I stinking love it. Like finding a really good operator, someone, I still get the depreciation, I still get the cash flow, I still get equity, I still get all these great things. I don't know the address.
And it doesn't take your time.
That's right. It's not a thief. Yep. All right, so let's take a break, and then we're going to talk with the Money Minute and talk about the thieves. I hate thieves. Stick around. We'll be right back.
REI Inc. is a monthly business publication for real estate investors, covering all types of real estate investments and strategies. It is the most comprehensive real estate investment publication on the market. All of the articles are written by the top leaders in the industry, so investors are assured of always getting the best information possible. Each month, REI Inc. also profiles the top companies in the industry and provides insights and data into key regional markets. Along with their sister platforms, the REI Referral Network and Highest Invest, real estate investors have exclusive access to off-market investment opportunities and national acquisition and disposition initiatives. To learn more, visit www.rei-inc.com, where you can also access the REI Referral Network. Also, be sure and visit www.highest-and-best.com to view the latest exclusive off-market assets with near immediate acceptance decisions and closing strategies. You can also email marketing@rei-referralnetwork.com to request more information.
Welcome back to Uncontested Investing. I'm Tim Harrods. Thank you for sticking around. So the next part is the money minute. You know it. Amy, did you draw the straw for the money minute? All right.
I did.
So 60 seconds. It does not have to be real estate. It
Okay.
can if you want.
Okay.
Kind of just picture there's a young entrepreneur, maybe a young Amy or an Amy currently, that they're only going to get 60 seconds of advice all month. So whatever it is, the best 60 seconds of advice that you have in you. You ready?
Yes.
Go.
All right. I think the best advice I would give is opposite of what you normally hear. Everybody tells you don't chase shiny objects. I think you should. I think you should chase a shiny object. Even if it's deterring you from where you are right now, it may be something you're really passionate about or something you got to weigh the risk and reward. It may be something really valuable. Like Jon and I, we're chasing the software game right now. And I think the risk and the reward is worth it. So it's a little bit of a shiny object for us, taking us off our normal path, but I think it's going to really be worth it.
So I'm pretty sure you just validated my entire audience. We all love chasing shiny objects.
I know.
Finally, someone said I can. But you're so right. I mean, if I had just stuck in my lane, I would be a wholesaler in Dallas, right? I definitely wouldn't run a multi-billion-dollar loan company.
Right.
If I just stayed in my lane, I'll never forget. It was September of 2013. I want to say it was like the 23rd. I don't remember. It was a 5-star conference, and I was supposed to give this speech. It was a speech I'd never given before on the entire single-family investment market. And my source was Personal Real Estate Investor Magazine, which the guy that owned that, this actually became REI Inc. magazine. And I remember I get ready. I'm in my closet, suited up and booted up, got my tie on, and this wave of fear came over. Like, I'm an imposter. I don't belong here. These Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac executives are going to see right through me. And I looked down, and there was my my favorite challenge coin from the 26 Mu. And I just grabbed that, and I said, no, Tim, you said you would do it. You're going to go. I was thinking about not going. It just came over me like, what am I doing? And stuck that coin in my pocket and went. And that's how I met Blackstone. And that's how I started B2R. And that's how I'm sitting here today, you know? And so chasing those shiny objects can be a good thing, but you talked about measuring the results and
the risk. You have to look at it. See, is this going to have a high enough positive reward for the risk that it's going to take? You can't chase after every shiny object.
Right.
If you're chasing every single one, yeah, you're going to be all over the place. You're not going to succeed.
Kind of like pick your battles.
Yes.
Well, right now with AI, it just makes everything possible. So much that now I've started like 9 books this week. You notice I said started.
Yep.
And that's what Jennifer kind of dialed me back in. She's like, honey, like, I get you're getting all these new ideas. Let's finish one.
Right.
And then let's finish another. And by then we may be to chat 5, and it may happen faster. It's like, just chill, you know? So I'm with you there. I want to talk, we've got about a couple minutes left, software. What is your software going to do, and why, and what made you decide that you would go ahead and take it to the market?
You go.
Our software, we call it, everybody has a CRM, but then they likely have task management. They have their phone system. They have e-signature. They have file management, and you're going between them all. And my background in IT, I hate having the same data in multiple databases. You get somebody that fat fingers it in, you forget to do this, you forget over here, and we're bringing it all into one. We're even going to have project management built into the software as well. So no more going to this app to text out, but you can get the text over here in your CRM, or, you know, it closed, you got a purchase contract, but you forgot to send it to TC. Look, the software should send it automatically. So that's really where we're going with it, just in a quick nutshell.
And long-term draw management will be in the software as well.
Yes.
Draw management.
Yeah, for lenders.
So are you going to license to lenders? Maybe a good rehab budget builder?
Yep.
That is the bane of my existence, because we all do it. Kitchen, $15,000, bathrooms, $5,000, flooring, $15,000, structure 20,000, rehab budget 65,000, like whatever. You're like, as a lender, you're like, I can't really give you a draw on that. Like, I need to know.
Right.
I mean, what are we going to do with the kitchen? Like, are you just buying a new one? Where are we going to put it? Like, you know, like, how's that a line item, right? But investors don't want to use some of these budget builders because they're clunky. They're slow. They force you to comply with what somebody probably that had never done a rehab budget before came up with. And so then you got the error, you got to do this, and eventually, what do we all do? Click, see you later. I'll go back to my hard money lender with my back of the envelope. Bye.
Yep. And imagine the value as the investor being able to go back after a rehab's complete and see exactly what they predicted would happen when they first, put the offer on the house, and then what changed by the time they started actually doing the rehab, and then what happened, what they ended up with, and be able to see that history, and then being able to say with a new lender, here's an example of one of my projects. I originally estimated this. We had some changes. We decided to do this. This hiccup happened. This is where we end up.
Well, and after actions are huge, and we don't finance you guys. I would love to, but you guys, from what I know of you, have done a great job cultivating local banks and partnerships. Now, is that you, since you're the numbers person, or is it a combination?
Combination, really.
You usually start the relationship, though.
What's been the key to that? Like, because to grow enough local financing for 150 plus individual assets is not easy.
It's not. It's gaining trust. Having the right connections to get us in touch with the bankers at the beginning made a huge difference. When somebody that is your colleague calls a banker and says, hey, you need to meet Jon and Amy, and they say, yeah, let's go to lunch, that gets you off on the right foot.
Right.
So I'll be honest on that aspect. But after that, doing what you say you're going to do.
Please listen.
Yeah, just do what you say you're going to do, and don't try to pull one. Don't try to BS. Don't try to pull something and just...
What is it? Communicate good news fast, communicate bad news faster.
Huh?
It's a key.
It really is. I mean, in an industry where delinquencies and foreclosures are ticking up, ours aren't really. I mean, they're up, but they're nowhere near. I mean, we're still way below normal. But I tell people all the time, like, we don't want to foreclose. We don't want to do, but by God, if you're not willing to talk to me, or if you're, oh, it's sold, it closes next week, and then next week comes and goes, and like, wait, well, what happened? Like, I didn't get a payoff request. Oh, well, the contract fell through. Like, nah. I mean,
Yeah.
Just this week, Amy was talking to one of our bankers, and he's like, okay, this loan's coming up for renewal. Is it listed? And she's like, no, it's supposed to be. The rain. We're at the point of
For landscape.
doing landscaping. And he went, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Let me know when it gets listed. And when it's listed, she'll let them know.
Right. It's just, communication, planning, proper execution. It sounds cliche-ish, but when you're asking someone for money or you're trying to ask them for more, your performance is going to be the, leading influence.
We need your help. Wherever you are, stop what you're doing right now and rate us on whatever platform you're listening on. Take a screenshot of your review and click the link in the description for your chance to win some uncontested investing AirPods. A winner will be picked on July 11th.
So we're almost out of time. I feel like this has just flown by, but there's always so much. We'll start with Amy. Anything we haven't covered that you wanted to cover today?
Ooh, good question. What am I forgetting?
We'll start with Jon.
Yep.
Jon, anything we haven't covered today you'd like to cover?
Believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't come from a poor family. I didn't come from a rich family. And believe in yourself. Take the action. Identify what you want to do. Identify the steps you need to have to do it. And then believe in yourself even when times get tough. Because everybody struggles at times. Everybody has downturns. Everybody has something happen. But you just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other. Adapt and overcome. I mean, today was a good example of that with us. And just keep on. Don't give up.
Your turn. I gave you like a minute to think.
Yeah. I think I'll go off of yours a little bit, believe in yourself, but if someone else can do it, why can't you? Like, Take that leap of faith and take a risk. You only got one life. Let's do it.
I tell everyone there's nothing special about me.
No,
I just,
us either.
we're not saving lives. We're just, doing whatever comes to our mind and trying to do it better the next day than we did the day before.
Right.
So we're going to sign off in just a second, but your children are in the studio. Let's get names. Audrey, Addison,
Aikman.
like Troy Aikman?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Love it. So I just love it. I love, both of my kids have been to the studio. It's just a crazy experience that I never thought I'd have. And I love sharing it with the family, and I love that you guys are putting those feet in front of each other. So if someone wants to get a hold of you, is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? Is it online? Is it just a website? How do they reach you guys?
I'm easiest on Facebook and Instagram, the Flippin' IT guy.
The Flippin' IT guy. You know how many times I say that? A lot. No, I mean, I love you, IT. You're my favorite department.
Yeah, I'm just Amy Nolen on Facebook and Instagram.
Amy Nolen, the Flippin' IT guy. What's the software called? Do we know yet? Is it still secret?
Pete.
Pete?
Pete.
Like P-E-T, like a man? P-E-T-E?
Yep.
Like a man?
Yep.
So is right. Oh, Pistol Pete? Oh my goodness.
That may be the inspiration. I mean, you see my shoes.
Yeah. Is the box or we don't have software in box anymore.
Crazy.
No, we're not going that crazy. So Pete is the software. Is it available now, or when will it be available?
It'll be available this summer. We're working with early adopters right now.
All right. So is there a website for Pete, or just look you up?
There is. It's thepete.io.
Thepete.io. We'll put that down in the show notes. Integrity Home Buyers based in Oklahoma City, but all over central Oklahoma.
Yep.
The Flippin' IT guy, Amy Nolen, on the socials. We'll put that in the show notes. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Sorry about the passport mix-up. My wife is
late.
going to be going through that in a couple of weeks because we're going to the Dominican Republic too. So it's good to hear that I need to go prepare her for that.
Oh, yes.
We are out of time. That is it. Thank you for stopping back by. Remember, your network is your net worth, and today you've been growing both. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to the Uncontested Investing Show. Questions about today's episode or the podcast? Email podcast@rcncapital.com and make sure to follow RCN Capital on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. See you all next time. The preceding program is furnished by RCN Capital LLC. The information provided is for general education purposes only and does not constitute any legal, financial, investment, or other professional advice. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by any speaker are the speaker's own opinion and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of RCN Capital LLC. No information contained in this episode should be construed as financial, investment, or legal advice from RCN or any individual, author, host, or guest. You should always consult a financial advisor